Hello, I am John Holliday, your judge for the month of March. This video is Class A. I'm going to assume that you're not listening to all of them. Some of you may be, but I'll give you just some basic info at the beginning of each one. I couldn't be with you on the Thursday night when you did this. I'm assuming that you've already gotten scores, and this is just going to be a critique of the images. You'll see the images and you'll hear me talk. I think most of you probably in Class A probably know who I am. I've judged with you several times before. I used to run a camera club. I've been around for a while. So I don't need to go into a lot of that. But I'll just give you some thoughts as I see these pictures, and hopefully it will be of some help to you, and or at least give you some maybe a different way of looking at things that maybe you hadn't thought of. So I hope it's helpful. Hopefully you know me as a relatively nice guy. I'm not very hard. If you've seen the scores, you probably know I'm not terribly hard. I really like all kinds of photography, but like most people, I have my certain specialties, and you all probably do too. But to some extent, since I've been around it and used to run competitions too, I'll just give you the thoughts that I have as I see any particular picture. We're going to do this just like as if we were in person. They'll be in no particular order, but then the top four, HM, third place, second place, first place, will be at the end of this. So, by the way, if you have any questions at all, or you want me to clarify something, or if I said something that bothers you or whatever, you just want to know more, send me an email, and I'll be happy to converse with you a little bit further. All right, here we go. This picture is a water fountain, and this is a pretty small file. This was smaller than the rest, so I don't know if that means it was just cropped out of something else or what. But this picture is an interesting scene, but it needs something more to create some real interest. It's very snapshotty kind of, and so that's, and I don't mean that as a slam, but it's just going to be, it is what it is. Visually or artistically, does it say much to me? Not particularly. So that's what I would say about that. But when you're shooting this kind of thing, you've got to know that there's you're going to have to do something with it, bring something of yourself to it, even if it's just in post-processing. So, second one is Fixer Upper. And this is also a pretty scene, kind of tranquil and very interesting subject. It's well done. It is well exposed and in focus and so forth. It's composed nicely. This is one of those where just visually, it does a certain something to me, but it's not moving me terribly. I do wish that and I know, this is anything anybody plans. The shadow here from the porch bothers me a little bit. Now I know that it's probably impossible to get the right kind of lighting on there, based on where it is and where a sun might be. But there are some things you could do to kind of help that out. And so a full-on HDR might have been better. I tend to prefer HDR photos that are a little more realistic looking, not too surreal, and so people are vary on that, but that might have been something to consider on this. The Netherworld, this is pretty cool looking. This infrared, I assume this is obviously at Caddo Lake, it looks like, and so this is very cool. I like it a lot. I just like some others better. We sometimes see this color. And by the way, I've never played with infrared myself. I've thought about taking one of my older cameras and having it converted to do that. And I think it'd be a lot of fun when I do. But I know that the coloring there can kind of be a bit of a choice at some point, even if it's in post. So that was an interesting choice. It seemed like for me, I might have chosen something not so green, but maybe on the cool side. A cooler side, like toward blue, possibly. But again, that's a very subjective thing. also think because the reflection isn't real strong down here, I'm not sure that we needed all of that. I might like it a little bit better if we had kind of cropped some of the bottom of that off. Don't know that for sure, but it's just a thought that I have. This one's called Junior, and I liked Junior. I wanted to like it more. There's a picture coming up that you'll see that might help me, that might illustrate this better. Obviously, the focal point is the tree in the middle. We know it's a smaller tree because of these other two on the sides here. And so, to that extent, it works, and it's great. The shot in the fog, and I think the way that this sort of silhouette turns out is great. I almost wonder, though, if I would have liked it better without these branches. A square format or something that just showed the tree. And by not showing them, there's different ways to do that. They could almost be just cloned out as if they weren't there, and it was just more fog up here. Now that would sort of says something different. It kind of says, Junior's just a title, but that would say that this is even more, it'd be more of a feeling of aloneness possibly. But that's a thought. I don't know if you tried that or if you went there, if it's something you might want to think about, but I think I would like that better. For me, and I think it's true for a lot of people, sometimes a very simple, clean composition that has a very simple subject matter. We'll call all of that simplicity. Simplicity is a thing in art, and sometimes it goes a long way. So that would be something to think about on that. But otherwise, I really liked it. And this, of course, is an interesting subject matter. It's composed correctly. It's in a good place. There's a nice reflection here. So there's a lot of good about it. It doesn't. Again, this is one of those that just doesn't move me terribly because there's nothing particularly special. If this little guy was even more colorful, that might be different, or flapping his wings or whatever. But so this is one of those that just, again, it kind of is what it is. By the way, minor thing here. There's something there. It's probably in the water, but that kind of thing, because it's in a light area, it does. I certainly notice it. Maybe others do, but that's an easy to take out. Just I would clone that out. I would clean that up some. So. Even playing around, and I'm just now thinking of this, even playing around with just the ripples and the waves in the water, if you made that even as if it were a longer exposure and they get kind of softer and wispier, that might be interesting too. Just ideas. I like this one a lot. Beautiful scene, of course, and got a lot going on for it. We have the stream in the front, kind of creates a leading edge. We've got payoff in here. This nice little patch of golden is beautiful, and I really like it. There's another one that's similar that I liked better coming up, but there's something else here, and I don't know what it is, but there's something happening. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe it's some sort of a digital glitch or something, or in fixing something quickly, it just got left and missed. I'm not really sure, but that's obviously in a competition. You wouldn't watch that kind of thing for sure. This is pretty. Obviously, a very strong focal point and a nice moment. This is called Spring Song, so it points well and it's composed correctly. There's not much more I would do with that, I think, but it just there's some others in this category that I felt were stronger. This is nice also. It's a great close-up. Sometimes the use of just one color is also very powerful. And that is a legitimate technique to just have nothing but one color. I'm reminded of gardeners who tell you that one of the best way to do gardens is to group your colors so you have all one color in one area and another color in another area. Now, gardeners don't hate me in case you don't feel that way, but that is a thing. It just it's one sort of artistic strategy that can be used. So anyway, these kinds of pictures work well. The water droplets help a lot and add all kinds of interest. So again, I really like this picture. There are quite a few that are up here in the 12, 13, 14, 15 point range. So I had to narrow it down, but I like this one a lot. This is another one that I like a lot. Early morning at Caddo Lake. The colors in this are amazing. The reflection is amazing as well. So, yeah, it's great. This almost could be a square, losing some of this, and this could be positioned maybe a little bit off center, but it would just be an idea. I mean, this is all fine too. But, or if you had the images for it, an extreme panoramic, going even further, off to the right and off to the left, if there's anything there. Yeah, it's just an idea. But the colors are great, so I really enjoyed looking at this one. This is a category where I could have had, if you haven't guessed, more than one HM. This one it's kind of a nice silhouette, and I get, this is called Foggy Morning Walk with Mom. So I get that by looking at this, and it's cool. The fact that it's framed the way it is also nice. What I'm missing here a little bit, what I'd prefer to see is a little more intimacy. If they were holding hands, or if they were, especially if they were holding hands and walking away, that would be kind of something. That would be the kind of thing you could easily pose. And I know it may not be a moment that actually happened, but that would be something to think about. It would evoke a little more of an emotion in me, and perhaps in most people. But in terms of the physical, the technicality of the picture, it's fine. The tones are fine. We've got this foggy area works for me, and the fact that it's silhouetted all that is good. Fort Worth, I love you. I love you, Fort Worth. Hey, this is a great view. I am glad to see this. I am pretty sure this is from the parking garage at Dickies Arena. I'm a Skyline guy. A lot of you guys may know that. I haven't been up there yet. But I've wondered. Well, there's been a thing going on. I just haven't worried about it over the last year. I have wondered what it looked like, and so this is why I know that that's what it is, because I'm pretty sure that's it. So the view is great. I like that. That's a great spot to get the skyline. So thank you for that. I'm glad to see that. This is a good picture. I have really no qualms with it at all. And it's taken at a good time of day. You got a great sky going on. So there's the sky is probably the best thing about this. Just the drama of it. What I do personally, if I were doing it, and you'll learn more about this, I'll tell you about it at the end. I've got a presentation coming up for you guys later, but my MO would be to stay there even longer. Perhaps you did, I don't know, but I would wait till the lights come on the buildings, and the first thought is, yeah, but the sky has changed by then. Yeah, that's true, but I keep the exposure, so I would use an exposure from this point, and I would use an exposure a little later, and work with it, kind of blend in some of the lighting from the buildings, and that would just add another element of drama and impact. But good job. It looks like it's about a 1-to-3 ratio too, which is really really useful in the world of selling pictures. 1-to-3 is pretty common, so that's a good panoramic ratio. So yeah, I like it. And this one is fine. It's a beautiful scene. Arches Courthouse, and we've probably seen those before. I don't have any real issues with this either. It's a good picture. I was trying to think what might I do differently. And I know sometimes you can't just pick your specific or perfect time of day. You kind of have to go with what you've got. But I wonder just in post if what might be helpful is to bring out some of the texture in here, and that might be with something like micro contrast or something like that. And make some of that, it would add some interest in this area especially. This is in the middle of the picture. The reflection is great, but it might add some interest there. So yeah, that's just one idea. I think that's what might be helpful for me. It's good. It's a good picture for sure. This is Clearing Skies. This is my honorable mention, and again, I could have had 2 or 3 other honorable mentions actually, but this is beautiful. And again, we've got this nice warm color here. Reflection is great, but there's plenty of interest there. It's all well done, and a great sky. It helps in landscapes when we have these really interesting skies. So, good job on that. Nice grab. Third place. I love this picture, and there's a point where we begin to really appreciate the effort that goes into particular shots. It made me think about how was it done. If I was talking with the maker, if we were live, we could actually dialogue a little bit about that. But I always appreciate a lot of effort. This could be, my first thought was it was like a front sync picture, meaning, if there's anybody listening who doesn't know what that means, that you capture this at the beginning of the exposure, possibly with a flash, although I don't think this is, now the more I look at it. And then for the rest of the exposure, this train is moving through it, which gives you these trails here. But because it doesn't look much like a flash, although it could be, it could also be a double or triple exposure that are just blended together. That's a possibility. Because I'm also seeing, it's just hard to tell. But whatever it is, it's very cool. And I really appreciate the effort gone into it. The angle is great. We've got some nice, sort of leading lines here. There's a very strong focal point, and it just works really well. So this is one especially where I just appreciate the attention, the detail, and the effort that goes into it. This is my second place. This brought a smile to my face, and maybe it does with you as well. It's called Old Bird, and Old Bird. What it makes me think of, the pose is like, what'd you say? It's like he's like, I can't hear you very well. Can you tell me what that is? I'm sure that's not what it is exactly, but I don't know eagle behavior, so what do I know? I say it's eagle. I guess it is. Must be. The one issue that I have with this, it's a great shot. It's lit well. It's very sharp. With just this really dark area in the middle. I'm sure that's kind of how it was. I would prefer some detail, and I think that might make it better. It doesn't have to be a lot, but if there's a way to just pull some of that out, I think it would help immensely. But otherwise, it's a great shot, great subject, and very interesting. So good job on that. And this is my first place. I was talking a little bit ago about the idea of simplicity. And sometimes simplicity just says a lot, at least in when we talk in terms of art and just visual impact. And just the single lone tree in a snowstorm. And the other cool thing about this, this may truly be a snowstorm. It may also be a little bit embellished after the fact. Maybe. I don't know. If it is, it's very, very well done. I just really like it. I can see this kind of a picture hanging in just a really classy restaurant or something. It may not exude quite the right mood maybe for a restaurant, but it's really pretty. It's just very artistic, very artfully done, and I just really like it. The composition is just right. So the focal point here, of course, is very obvious. It's because it's so simple, and so I was very drawn to it. I really like that one. So very nice job. So that was first place. That's the end of this presentation. My best of show, by the way, is in the master class. So here is a shameless plug. I mentioned this a few minutes ago. I'm doing a thing for you guys on April 6th. It's one of those Tuesday night workshops, I guess you call it, that I'm doing. And just to give you a quick little, this sort of says it all, but I kind of make my living doing cityscapes and skylines, meaning I have a bunch of pictures and I'm able to sell them and sell enough to get by. I have most major cities in the U.S., and so in this presentation you'll see a lot of those. You'll see a representation of pretty much all the cities I have. I'll put them together in a fun way in a video. It's not going to be terribly technical. We'll talk some about my process, and hopefully we can even do some questions just in the Zoom process if you have any. But there'll be some of that. As we have time, I will also tell a few stories, and I'll try to highlight a couple ways that cityscapes and skylines are useful for you guys just in your everyday shooting. I know you're not all going to run out and try to get every city, but hopefully I can encourage you a little bit with a few different ideas. So that's April 6th. If you can be with us, that would be wonderful. So thank you all for allowing me to do this. I'm going to finish up the master's class video now, and you'll see there's 3 links there for B, for A, which this one is, and master's. All right. Thank you all.